Well, we've got some words in terms of Liz Truss's mission in New York for the next couple of days. We're told that Liz Truss is going there really to present the case from the United Kingdom to focus those talks on the economic and security crisis caused by Putin's illegal war in Ukraine. And that's an interesting phrase. We keep hearing from the Truss administration, Putin's illegal war in Ukraine. I think that's a phrase we're going to hear a lot of potentially from the Prime Minister in the next couple of days. She will be urging international partners, we're told, to stay the course, worrying that some Ukraine fatigue may be setting in, and really trying to lead the way in terms of committing the same amount of support next year as was provided this year. That's billions of pounds of support for the military and indeed domestic reconstruction effort in Ukraine. I expect that we'll be seeing British pressure on other countries, particularly some of those more reticent European countries, to join with the United Kingdom in taking that strong line and hopefully bringing this conflict to an end by the time of the next UN General Assembly meeting next September. That would, of course, ease a lot of cost of living pressures. But also, we've got some more details about the bilateral meetings that Liz Truss is taking today, not just with President Macron, but also the Prime Minister of Japan, the President of Lithuania, and a visit to the Ukrainian Institute in New York as well, meeting with the First Lady of Ukraine and Ukraine's Foreign Minister. Of course, President Zelensky has said that he'll be staying in Ukraine throughout that crisis, although only a few days ago there was a vote in the UN General Assembly to allow President Zelensky to virtually address the chamber. That will be happening this week as well. So it's a busy day for Liz Truss, but she's not the only British minister in New York. She's also going to be joined by the Foreign Secretary James Cleverly and the Development Minister Vicky Ford as well, who will be taking meetings further down the week. And of course, turning back to Westminster, as you mentioned as well, tomorrow morning we'll see details on that business support and that Northern Ireland support as well to areas where legislation may be required to help people with their energy bills. Number 10 has been insisting that new legislation isn't required to help people in Scotland, England and in Wales to lower that energy price cap. The statute is there to do that. And then on Thursday, a health announcement. How is the UK going to get through the winter? How is that NHS backlog going to be dealt with? We'll hear details from Therese Coffey, the Deputy Prime Minister and new Health Secretary. And also, as you mentioned, Friday, assuming a programme motion goes through on Thursday, because it's not normal for big events to happen on Friday. There needs to be a motion in the House to allow the House to sit in full on Friday. But we're expecting, if that goes through on Thursday, then that fiscal statement on Friday morning. It's a very busy week in Westminster.
And when she is back and when politics gets back to business in earnest, do we expect to see that row that started to brew over who will pay for the cost of helping with our energy bills? And if I can have a second question with you, uncapping bonuses uncapping the rate of
the bankers' bonuses.
Is that really going to happen, Tom?
Well, let's take your second question first, because that wasn't directly asked of the Prime Minister's spokesman today, but questions around that were asked. And when it comes to what Liz Truss is really saying, what her administration responds to around these economic questions, around questions of changing regulations or the fiscal structure of the United Kingdom, the words that were used from Number 10 is this is an unashamedly pro-growth administration. Unashamedly pro-growth. And that means, likely, that this is an administration that will take decisions that might be seen to be unpopular, that might be seen to be poor timing, frankly, but that may well tick up or contribute to ticking up the growth rate in the UK. Of course, the argument from Number 10 is that by capping the amount that bankers can be paid, well, the highest earning bankers will just move to New York or Singapore or somewhere else. Whereas if you allow them to earn more money here, guess what? They'll pay more tax here. That's what Number 10 will be saying. Of course, there will, however, be the political opposition that this is a bad look to do. So we'll be seeing some of that coming on. And to answer your first question as well, yes, of course, we'll be seeing the Labour Party arguing about the idea of who pays for the enormous fiscal intervention to freeze energy bills. But it won't be this Wednesday because there's no Prime Minister's questions this Wednesday. Indeed, the House of Commons tomorrow will be devoted to members of Parliament swearing their oaths of allegiance or indeed affirming their oaths of allegiance to the new king.